This is the reason he said in 1 Peter 4 that judgment wasn't going to come first in the house of God. When you have a poor spiritual leadership in any nation, the leadership of the nation declines. When you have pastors okay with abortion, pastors okay with fornication, pastors okay with homosexuality and lesbianism, why wouldn't the world be the way that it is? The church has always had more power than we thought we had. We don't follow after the world system, they follow after us. They model what we do. They mirror what we do spiritually. And as long as the watchmen are not on the wall, seeing from far away so that we could gather together in intercession and stop whatever we see, then you're going to see a decline. Anything that you see happen in these United States and America is the fault of the church. When the spiritual atmosphere is low, it hits the economy. The economy is hit when the church is operating below their spiritual aptitude. It affects it politically.
She did quote the scripture, this, let judgment begins in the household of God, okay? That's, God still judges the nation. Those are the things that are true. So remember, even though these women are false teachers, it's not like everything that comes out of their mouth is actually false. They do say certain things that are actually true. Why? Because they are made in the image of God, okay? So they do say things that are actually true. But they twist the scripture or they don't honor the scriptures by operating outside the scriptures. So she says, okay, if the church is doing this and then the economy of the nation is going to be, no, that is not true, okay? However, the scripture teaches, you know what I mean? A righteous nation is a blessing to God because the government is God's deacon, okay? So there are blessings to the nation when the nation is doing things that are God-honoring. So unless if you live someplace else, you tell me what is it that's happening in our nation right now that you can say with a clear conscience that is honoring God. We all 50 states, they are still deleting babies left and right. And God hates the hands that shed innocent blood. And all these other things that are happening, okay? It's illegal to have a rainbow wedding. The very institution that God instituted in Genesis before the fall was marriage. Okay, so you cannot tell me all these other things. Like, no, the things that we are receiving right now, there are blessings that people are actually experiencing, but God will not be mocked. Okay, so, Sunday, we got a super chat from Lady Sunday. Thank you, Sunday. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that. Okay, the church attends, the woman says, the congregational prayer on Sunday mornings. What are your thoughts on Sunday? What I say? Okay, so. What's the question? They say, hold on. I want to answer your question. So, Sunday writes, quote unquote, the church I attend, the women says, the congregational prayer on Sunday morning. What are your thoughts on that? Okay, so unless if I'm wrong, okay, so you are asking me, there is a congregational morning prayer at church. And if you're asking me, there is a morning prayer at church, right? And women are also part of that morning prayer, and they are also praying in the presence that the men are there, okay? My view is everything that's happening at the church, men should be leading those. If there are prayers, men should be reading the prayers in the church, okay? If it's just women only, no problem, okay? If it's women and children, no problem. Because women can teach women, women can teach children, okay? So the reason why I say this, that I hold to that view because it's consistent, okay? Because if a preacher comes in, he's going to pray, he's going to, he's leading. I even go, even when it comes to whatever singing, women can be in a choir, you know what I mean? But it should be clear that there's a man who is in charge of, worship, you know what I mean? Who is in charge of worship team, all those things. That's the view that I hold to. Now, I'm not going to, if you go to a good church, okay, and there's a congregational prayer that goes on, but the women, they participate in that issue, I wouldn't leave a church because of that, okay? If it's a good church, I wouldn't leave a church because of that. If there are opportunities for you to be able to, say something to your pastor, you can use that as an opportunity to do that, okay? I would not die on a hill if there's a congregational meeting where women are participating, are praying, no. But if you're going to a church and a woman is preaching, even if they don't have a title, you need to leave that church like yesterday, okay? Because you, by sitting there, it's Romans 1, you're giving her the approval to people who are literally operating in contradiction of the scriptures. So, absolutely not, okay? Yeah. So to me, I had somebody said this. They said, you know what? The reason why some of these men are not standing up doing these things, it's because of us women. We're taking over. Okay? We do have a takeover spirit. So we need to sit down. If we sit down, these men are already wired with leadership in them. They're going to rise up. They'll take care of business. We are there to help and to support. So if I didn't answer your question correct, you can always, ask me again. But that's the position that I hold to. Okay? Yeah. But if it's a good church, women are participating, no problem. It's fine. I'll stay there. I don't support that. If men are present and these are the things that are happening in the church, men should be taking care of business and that. Okay? Especially if it's a Sunday. If you're Sunday, you're going there, this is what's happening, let those things happen. If those are the things that are happening on a Wednesday, an off day, you're just doing all those things, I'm not going to die on that hill. I hope that explains it. Okay? So, all right. Let's continue with Prophetess Tiphani over here, okay? Here we go, guys.
The watchman gets their assignment and visions from God and God all by themselves. And he is held accountable by God to complete it. Not man, like your leadership, not your pastors, not social media, not the people that get mad at you on social media, not your family that tell you to shut up, none of them. Your assignment is by God and God alone. And the reason that they hate that you talk so much is because your mouth is your biggest weapon. Your mouth is your biggest weapon. Everybody write down these, and you're going to study these on your own time. Joel chapter 2, verse 1. Isaiah 58, verse 1. But
so, that's fine. Nothing wrong her, Tiphani, giving the scriptures to her audience that they can study this on their own. But to me, I'm like, okay, they're there to hear you preach and teach them, okay? So why are you sending them to go and study on their own instead of you teaching them what those the scriptures are teaching? But, it's Tiphani. It is. What else? Okay? All right. Let's hear her a little bit here.
A nation. And I called a minister that I knew, and because I didn't.
Okay, so here Tiphani is telling us that she did make some prophecies that came to pass. So now it's just like, okay, patting herself on her back here. So listen to the prophecies that she's claiming that she prophesied and they came to pass, okay? Take a listen. Here we go, guys.
I didn't know what that meant, except for the next day the tsunami hit the nation. That was in 2015. And then 2025, September 25th, 2025 to be exact, I warned everybody about Jamaica. What's really weird about that warning was it didn't go with my message, and it was only 4 minutes long. Do you understand what I mean by that? And I warned that.
Tiphani, why are you wearing the red bottoms if you cannot rock them up there? I see you, girl. All right.
It was going to be a natural disaster that hit Jamaica. And then the next month, it happened. I noticed a pattern that it was 2005, 2015, and 2025, every 10 years.
Oh, so, guys, I also warned people in Jamaica that there was going to be a disaster there. Where's the verification? Okay, so this is the issue that people cannot see. Okay, so what month are we? We are in November. Okay, right now I'm prophesying there's going to be snow in Chicago. There's going to be snow in Minnesota. There's going to be snow in Michigan. Oh, by the way, there's going to be a lot of snow in Alaska. I'm prophesying right now. Is that prophecy? You see what I'm saying? That is not prophecy, okay? That's what happens. It snows in all these places, guys, okay? That's just a cycle of nature. That's why right now we're in 4 seasons. Oh, by the way, I prophesy December, we're going to be in winter. And I prophesy we're going to have spring. You see what I'm saying? That is not prophecy. That is not prophecy. There's going to be hurricanes in Florida. That's not prophecy, okay? Tornadoes in Oklahoma. That's not prophecy. That's why they can tell, you know what I mean, category, whatever, you know what I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4. They know when it's going to happen, even if it doesn't happen, right? It's not prophecy to say these things. You know what I mean? Oh, there's an earthquake in Japan. It's not prophecy. Why? Because geographically where Japan sits, it sits on tectonic plates. So them experiencing earthquake, there's nothing they can do. There's nothing to do with prophecy. So that's what Tiphani is doing right now, okay? There was a disaster that took place in Jamaica. It's sad. It's unfortunate. You know what I'm saying? But that has got nothing to do with prophecy. But these people think Wow. Now all of a sudden, Tiphani, she's a true prophet. But she's saying things that are just, these are the things that do happen, guys. Okay? It's not a strange thing to see snow. It's normal. Okay? But
I've released other warnings before. Get Listerine. They started mocking me and calling me a Listerine prophet until some of the biggest hospitals all over the world began to release the information that they were treating their hardest cases with yellow Listerine. I told you all to go get beans back in 2021. They're still mocking me for that. I believe, unfortunately, we're going to see soon why he told us to get beans. I also believe that he told us to get beans so early on because we didn't know what weevils were. Y'all still don't know what weevils are because you didn't get the beans. You know what weevils are. They're bugs that grow in your bag of beans that you didn't know could grow in a bag of beans if you don't store them correctly. So God gave us proper time.
that's a lie, guys. Okay? I'm like, okay, if Tiffany doesn't know weevils, that's her problem. I know what weevils are. Okay? And yes, there's beans. Weevils are going to be sort of like in beans. Okay? I went to a boarding school. So, like, most of the diet was beans. So you having your dinner, seeing weevils with your beans was not a strange thing. Believe it or not, okay? So I was just like, Tiffany, you know what? You can be giving this prophecy to people in America, okay? You giving this prophecy, third world and all these other countries, huh? You're saying God is warning you that people should store their beans properly so they don't have weevils. Like, they will look at you like crazy. Like, what are you talking about? That's just duh, okay? That's just duh, okay? So these are the things. It's okay if let's say like in your home, you don't take care of your home. Now all of a sudden, you have roaches and everything else. Is that prophecy? Oh, man. Anything is prophecy coming out of Tiffany. Okay? So I was just like, no, Tiffany, that's not prophecy. If you don't know what weevils are, no problem. You know what I'm saying? They do exist. It's nothing to do with prophecy, guys. Okay? They are already, it's something that's already there. People have experienced those things, okay? You as truly included. So that cannot be prophecy, okay? Remember, what is the prophecy, right? It's something that it has to come from God. It's not something that's sort of like normal and natural, okay? It'll be like, oh, this is what God has said. And it should absolutely come to pass. You just saying things that are just normal par for the course. That doesn't mean that's prophecy. But she refers to those things as prophecy. No, it is not.